It's time for the Chips and Salsa Show.
The only show about Latinos for Latinos. And did we mention Latinos?
It's the Leticia.
Latinos come in all flavors, shapes, and sizes. You don't have to be Latino to enjoy chips and salsa.
Everybody loves chips and salsa.
Three, two.
Welcome to your Chips and Salsa Show. This is Don Jorge El Alacran. And today with me, I have a great co-host, Sid de la Puente, from Calo and from Azra. He's the chairman of both of them, actually, the West Side Azra and the founder of Calo. And he's a very good co-host. And also with me, I have from the Perkins Report, which is part of our same syndicated programming, today, Leticia Victoria Perkins. And she's a very, very good, knowledgeable co-host. You're going to be learning a lot about her today on the Chips and Salsa Show. You already know about her through the Perkins Report. So, without further ado, I present Leticia Perkins.
Hi, nice to be
Could you
here.
give them a little bit of your background so that...
Okay, so my name is Leticia Victoria Perkins, and I have started the Perkins Report, formerly known as Live with Letty. I speak mostly about the direction of this country with human trafficking, CPS. The last year I've had politicians on just to interview them, see where they're going in their campaign, what they stand for, and try to get an idea about, what they want to do in the community.
You do podcasts. Your thoughts on the direction of this country? We'll start with that.
Oh, wow.
This country is really going in, kind of different directions. But Leticia, let's get your view on it.
I think, we're already there. We're at the bottom. I don't know, what else is left if we don't step up and do something about this. The economy is really bad, as you guys know. Nothing is as it was under the Trump administration. You have just gas prices are ridiculous. The amount of homeless people, everything is just chaotic. My thoughts on the direction of this country is we as Americans really need to step up, stop actually voicing our opinions and going out into the community and doing something about it, maybe starting local chapters of just different conservative movements. Some of us feed the homeless, some of us go to the elderly to check on them in their homes and make sure that, they're getting the health care and the resources that they need. Starting extra programs maybe at the library for the children. The left is really good at mind manipulating children.
Oh, yeah.
Young, at a young age. They have hit the libraries, the schools, the local malls. They have programs everywhere on how to teach these children about being transgender and, sex changes and things that are just very inappropriate.
That's the most ridiculous thing that is happening in our time right now is this transgender trying to change boys to girls and girls to boys. And you're seeing it everywhere. And everybody just turns a blind eye to it. And the ones that don't approve of it, they're quiet about it. But it is sickening.
Very.
I have kids, my daughters are daughters. They're girls. And the guy, my son, he's, and my wife's sons, they're guys.
Yeah.
But anybody could change when they grow up. It's when you try to force it when they're little, like 5 years old or 10 years old, and you try to get in their mind and change them, that's not right. Nobody should have that right. The parents' right should never be taken away. And Leticia, I know you deal with this quite a bit.
Go ahead.
No, like George says, you deal. We talked off the mic and before the program, and it's real interesting what you're doing. It's real interesting and not only interesting, just like you said, it is something that you're voicing and you're voicing out, which is great. And you're doing it in a way where right is right, and that's a great thing. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Since 2018, I have been getting involved in different cases involving CPS, divorce court, a lot of laws that have been passed, especially in blue states, regarding children, custody, abuse. And I really feel that, especially in California, where I'm from, how they got to where they are with all the laws that Gavin Newsom and Senator Scott Weiner have passed, is that people don't come together. They won't unite around a cause. So what I have found out is there is a massive amount of human trafficking going on. I believe how this started is with the CPS workers being involved. You have these minors councils and judges that look the other way when there's abuse, especially sexual abuse going on with a child or a woman, and they just turn a blind eye. So what I found is that it's really hard now to escape the abuse from the state. So, there's been a lot of situations that I've come across where maybe, a woman wants to leave the home and she has small children, and the courts don't think it's in the best interest of the children, for the children to be raised with just a mother. But yet in America, over the last 50 years, we have pushed for women to be independent, to be able to drive, vote, to be able to get their 6-week leave after they have a child. But now what I've found, especially in divorce custody court and dependency court, is they've rearranged that whole concept. We are now looked at, we're frowned upon when we try to, start our own business alone and, you have small children. That's frowned upon. They are now encouraging you to stay where you are until your children are older.
Do you feel that through what you have seen and what you've seen, do you feel that it's happening more in certain races or certain groups or certain minorities? What do you see? And do you see any of that?
That's a very good question. In certain areas, in certain cities, you may have a judge who may be running, saying they're bipartisan, and these are their American views, is to help a woman go forward. But yet when you step into that courtroom and you want to, raise your kids alone and you work, and let's just say you have 3 or 4 kids, you're frowned upon because this person is saying one thing to get votes and reelected as a judge. They'll run as, partisan or non-political. They don't really have a really strong, they're not leaning left or right, but yet they frown upon the thought of a woman doing it alone. I have found that in certain areas, there are certain races that they feel like, a minority woman just shouldn't be doing this. We've come a long way as far as being able to drive and vote, raise our children alone, make just about as much money as a man. But what I find is it's not that. You have that portrayed as an American dream, but it's really not that. I do go to several areas, especially in California, since I'm from there, and I've found that in Sonoma County, you have mothers who have the same complaints about family court and CPS. Maybe they're white and their ex-husband is, the CEO of a big company or an athlete, and they want to, leave their relationship. That money will guarantee that woman is not able to walk out of that marriage with their children.
So it's I guess you could say it was situations like that. Money talks.
Yeah.
Money talks. And it's sad to see that because you see a lot within, I say the liberal side, because they want you to be especially women.
You would think.
You would think that with women to excel, to be up on top, to be, to be without a man, point blank, to be without a man, and if they wanted to raise their family, they could do it without a man.
Well, when I was raised up, I come from a Spanish family. My mom had different husbands. She raised us. Yeah, when the woman is with their husband and she's raising their kids, all is fine. But then they make it easy for them to get on welfare. The woman depends on welfare. The man is bringing in the money, so they're able to survive. But then the man leaves for some reason, and then the woman's by herself. She stays on welfare. She never gets a job, a really 8 to 5 job, because she's got the kids to take care of. I've seen that all my life. And, that was 60 years ago. But things haven't changed because women are still depending on welfare. Women have gotten better. They've gotten better at educating a woman, but still they treat the women really bad. The man gets away with murder a lot of times because he just moves on to another woman, and he does the same thing with the other woman. I've seen it all of my life, and that's why. And then what Leticia was saying about the CPS. We've been involved with the CPS because we have a granddaughter that we got through CPS, and we've been the court awarded her to us, and we've raised her. But CPS, they'll send you, because at the beginning the CPS was we had 2 of the girls. They were sisters, but one was physically challenged because she was bipolar. But they didn't tell us this, and so we had to go to meetings and stuff with the CPS, and they send you to psychiatrists, and they talk to the girl that has the problems, and just throw rocks against the wall. I mean, throw something against the wall. They try stress release, I guess. It didn't work. She was so suicidal, and we finally stayed with the younger one and raised her. And it's been like over 10 years that 12 years that we've had our granddaughter. But she is totally right. They try to break, or they don't, I don't know if they do it intentionally, but they break up the family.
Intentionally.
I was, and the reason she's here is because I saw some of her podcasts of her interviewing women that got caught in this situation where the woman didn't know what was happening. And maybe you would like to talk more about that one young lady that you interviewed on your show.
Okay. Well, her situation is with directly with CPS.
Right.
So what they are known for in every state, and you can talk to parents that are on the right, on the left, white, black. It doesn't matter what side of the tracks you live on, what religion you are. CPS right now is a major problem in the United States. Last night I watched a show with Megan Walsh on
that was interesting.
Yeah, with Stu Peters, and she nailed it. CPS is mind manipulating children, so they will either take you from one parent and tell the other parent, "Look, you have to leave the house." On my next podcast, you will see I have with me Rachel Bruno, who has lived this nightmare out of Huntington Beach, California. She successfully sued the state and got her children back. But as I was saying, with CPS, they have something that is very, very similar to MK Ultra. It's mind manipulating children at a young age. And what they do is they will either take you from both parents and put you in foster care, where you are legally adopted out, which they make it very hard for the parents, whether they're together or split up, to get their child back. So right now, the number one human trafficking problem is not at the border. It is sitting right here in the United States of America. They are judges with legal absolute immunity. The left cries about the cops and their limited immunity. The problem is those with absolute immunity. There's so many times where you hear a child at 20 has sued the state for something that happened at 15. These people know exactly what they're doing, and they're going to keep doing it until everybody here gets involved. CPS is an satanic cult. They're all involved with mind manipulation. They get children,
Allegedly.
and they keep children.
And it's the drugs they give them.
And well, yeah, if you have a child that's hyper, they will give them drugs without your consent.
And sometimes it's the wrong drug, and it makes it worse.
And
because that's what we experience.
They also know what parent will cooperate with them. During COVID-19, I've heard from a lot of parents on the East Coast and the West Coast that were getting divorced. Judges were giving full sole custody to the parent who would comply and give their child the vaccine. So now what do we do?
So a lot. I could see that you're, what you're saying about drugs and everything of that nature. But I think it goes back to a lot. It has to, just like you say, the mind manipulation, the mind, dealing with mind control. It's kind of like the mind control. I know the drugs probably, let's say, allegedly does alter whatever the case may be. But I think it's more than just, I think a child, in my opinion, because I have two of my own, okay, and my wife, it's weird because my wife right now does two jobs.
Uh-huh.
Two jobs, and I do the one. So it's like, yeah. So, okay. But growing up, and George, I guess you can also vouch, we kind of same age, kids nowadays, in my opinion, it's not so much a drug, it's so much touchy, feel good them. Whatever the kid feels, whatever the child, I shouldn't say kid, whatever the child feels, whichever the child is, that's the way to go. We can't do nothing about that.
Yeah.
That's the way they say they're going to be. If they want to be a girl, that's the way it is. If they want to be a boy, that's the way it is. They want to be a cat, furry, that's the way it's going to be. There's no, I don't think it's more mine because I see there's no psychological help no more. There's no psychological help. It's all
they think they're giving them psychological help, but these doctors are so phony. They're phony up the yin yang. They'll say, well, here, we're going to change the dosage. Well, the dosage makes the person more suicidal, or that makes them act differently. They say bipolar, part of the brain is working, the other part's not working. Yeah. So they give them a drug to attack one part of the brain, and it makes them worse. Then we got to change the dosage on this. The girl that I was talking about that was with us for a short time, she ended up running away from CPS. She went to Texas. They didn't know where she was at, so they stopped looking for her. When she reached 18, she became an adult because she was 13, I think, at the time, or 17, 14 at the time. She ran away. She goes foster home to foster home to foster home. She finally ran away. And she moved to Texas, got a boyfriend, came back over here. She got off the drugs. Her and her husband get along really good. She got away from CPS. She got away from that control. And she's not on drugs anymore.
One thing,
it's crazy.
It's just crazy.
One thing, George, you have to remember is CPS has their people that they're contracted with. So the doctors, they're contracted with CPS to write a report, to be able to take the child in court. And then that doctor is contracted with Big Pharma, if you will. And they get money. If you listen to that show last night with Megan Walsh and on Stu Peters' show, it's telling you directly what's going on. The CPS workers get promoted and they get a stipend on how many children that they can
foster home, and they tricked her to be there at the hearing. And when she started crying and going crazy, they just moved her out of the way, and the guardian at Lanham was
Starts
the one
talking,
that spoke for her.
And it's like, why though? These kids know where they want to be. They especially if they're of age, they know, where they want to be. Another thing is a lot of these parents, when you adopt out, you get money. So they don't work. Yeah. They're not contributing to society. They're sitting down and getting money from somebody that they've illegally kidnapped. So you have all this money going around, which is not teaching a child anything. And this is like a RICO. To stop this, you got to follow the money. Yeah. You have to really be experienced on what's going on with CPS. Mm-hmm. There are parents that, they do write the senator, they do write the governor, they do pop up at events, and they do talk to these people. So it's not that America doesn't know. It's that there's not enough people uniting together and saying, hey, wait a minute, fast forward to 5 to 10 years. What is going to happen? CPS has become so big. They are the number one racket. They are the problem in the United States.
But it's so how can I say, it's contradictory to the left. It's because in one instance you say, well, the child in school, if we teach them or show them books of homosexuality, sex, or whatever, it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, they already know what they want to be, who they want to be, and we shouldn't touch that. We should that's their that's who they are.
Yeah.
That's what they say. That's who they are, and that's how it's going to be.
Yeah.
But yet the way I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, the way I understand it in CPS, it's opposite. It's kind of opposite. If you're not saying what they're saying, it's like then no. No, you don't have no say.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I know you're going to continue this on your programming.
Oh, definitely.
And, so that's what we have. Look forward to the Perkins report. She's going to be talking about this. She's going to have people on her show who have experienced this. Who are you voting for, by the way?
Oh, Trump. All Trump. He's the only one with the guts and the nuts to step up and do something. I don't know if a lot of people know, but he is the one who got, the laws passed. So women are no longer chained giving birth in prison.
Yes.
This is the only president who has done something about criminal justice. He passed the First Step Act. This is the only president that has even addressed human trafficking. He's addressed this, saying that his first priority is going to be doing something about human trafficking, and he addressed this in July. No other president ever has addressed coming after these child traffickers. I will be pushing the Trump administration on where these traffickers are. Yes, the border is a very big problem. The biggest traffickers are sitting right here in the United States. They're called CPS, Guardian Ad Litems, and Minors Council.
Okay, so we know that's the topic that's going to be on the Perkins report. Remember the Perkins report, which is after our show, or just go on Rumble or Instagram and you'll see her podcast. You could even go to earlier podcasts. And I was looking at earlier podcasts and I was really amazed at some of the guests that she's had. She's a very good interviewer. And I guess on your next show, do you have the person that's going to be on your next show?
I do. It's a surprise. He will be coming on to address new stuff that's going on. I don't really want to say too much.
Okay,
but,
now
it's a surprise.
How do they get in touch with you, Leticia?
You can DM me at the Perkins Report on Instagram. I believe on Twitter, it's under my name, Leticia Victoria Perkins. I do have an email for any victims that would like to contact me regarding their case, who is involved, that we keep confidential. We have things that we're doing in several different states on how we're going to pinpoint these people. That email is Victims React Community 1. You can go on my Instagram, Leticia Victoria Perkins, to get the email. Everything is kept confidential, and I look forward to hearing from you guys.
That's great.
Okay.
That's great.
Sid, you have something coming up this Friday with Carlo
Friday,
and Azra. You want to just say a few words about that
real quick? This Friday out in Buckeye at the Coyote Branch Library from 6 to 9. We're having our mandatory members meeting. And those who are conservative, Latino, or independent and conservative, constitutional Republican, come out. We're out there.
Okay, and then this weekend we're having Fan Fest USA by Turning Point USA is putting it on at the convention center. If you're a PC or a community organizer and you like to get free tickets, go to Turning Point USA to www.fanfestusa and put in the code FanFest.
AM.
Oh, AmFest. AmFest. You're right. It's AmFest. I kept making that mistake. AmFest. It's amfest.com. And then put in the code Thank You PC, all in capitals, and you should get the tickets for all 4 days. They'll have Tucker Carlson there. They're going to have Donald Trump Jr., Rosanna Barr,
Candace Owens,
Bush,
Candace Owens.
I keep forgetting Candace Owens, and
Glenn Beck,
and many more. Charlie Kirk will be there. And then the concert series, they're going to have Big and Rich and a few other groups that you've probably heard of. On Thursday, let's see, Saturday, it's all day from 9 a.m. From 7:30 to 11 p.m. is open concert night. So opening their concert night. On Sunday, it's all speakers, the general session, and the church from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. They're going to have a strong church type of thing with Turning Point USA. And Monday, it's going to be all day. You'll see us on Media Row. The Chips and Salsa show will be on Media Row. And, hey, it's a big deal. We got a nice booth. You'll see me, Eric, Alice, and Leticia Perkins will be there.
Unfortunately, I got to work.
He has to work. And you're going to see a lot of people you know from that. And also, what else? It's going to be a great show, people. It's unbelievable. They put this on once a year, and the speakers are fantastic. And it's going to be packed. So get your tickets. Get there early. Parking at the convention center. And you'll enjoy it. A lot of vendors there where you can buy hats and stuff. Trump hats, Trump stuff, or other stuff for Turning Point USA. And come by our booth, say hi to us, say you saw us on the Chips and Salsa show, and we'll give you a free cookies and coffee. Supplies last. Don't miss it. Merry Christmas to everybody. Have a safe holiday. We'll see you in January when we come back on air. Believe me, this is something you don't want to miss. By Turning Point USA. It's AmeriFest 2023. It's Donald Trump Jr. alone is worth going to see. So
Tucker Carlson.
I wouldn't be surprised if his dad was on the video because that's what they always do. So there's going to be surprise guests too. So come to AmeriFest and we'll see you. Thank you, Chipsters. And
thank you.
Stay tuned for the Perkins Report right after our show. Or if it's not after our show, it's on Rumble, aligned with you just go to Perkins Report. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you.